We need more shows that are like Agatha all along. But it's not for the reason you probably think. Now wait, before you completely disregard this video because you think I have awful tastes, I'm not saying this show was amazing. It had clunky dialogue, some major leaps in logic, and tons of awful singing. However, it did things most modern shows never do, which made it stand out to me and even make it entertaining. So hear me out and let me know if you think future shows would benefit from stealing these aspects. The best place to begin with is what the show used in the majority of its marketing. This is a very woke show. We were informed multiple times that it will be the gayest show Marvel has ever produced. Yet, they managed to achieve this without actually hurting their narrative. The women in this show actually act like women, which was a very positive surprise. So many films and TV shows produced today believe that a female protagonist needs to act like a man for the audience to respect them. They turn out like Galadriel in Rings of Power. Their actions and motivations are that of men, rarely showing feelings, being super strong bad bitches that need no man. This results in breaking the immersion because it is so out of place. Yet, in Agatha, the witches feel like real people. They have believable characteristics and motivations that you would see in a normal woman. This is shown best when one of the challenges literally involves drinking bloody wine. Yes, one can argue that this is stereotypical, but you must remember, stereotypes come from a place of truth. This challenge would make no sense in any other context but this one. It's so simple when you say it, but future shows need to make their women characters actual women and not men with long hair and dresses. Another great aspect of this show that I'd love to see more in future shows is that we were actually following a villain. Agatha was and is an awful person from start to finish. And I was actually rather disappointed that the writers didn't believe in themselves enough to commit to this 100%. They flirt with the idea that maybe there is good inside of her, even committing a whole episode to actually showing us that she was killing all these witches just to keep her son alive. I might be the minority here, but it's getting a bit boring with the good guys always winning. Give me a show where the villain absolutely fucks shit up. Bonus points if you can actually make me believe that they are in the right, or at least right from their perspective. Stop with this "there's good inside everyone" bollocks. Look at Homelander. He is such an irredeemable character, and the amount of spectacle he brings is priceless. And they kind of did this with Agatha. I mean, she directly kills one of her team members and admits to actually wanting to kill all of them. Which takes us to another point I want future shows to do more. Please kill off your characters. Agatha went full Game of Thrones, killing 4 out of the 7 main characters in its show. Now fine, the first old lady might count as a side character, but all the others did have major impact on the actual story. Imagine in Lord of the Rings, only Sam and Frodo survived. That is major damage, and it's heartbreaking to think about. Killing off big characters brings so much to a story. It shows that there are permanent consequences and boosts the stakes of the story, making any action set piece even more engaging as the audience is kept on the edge of the seat, not knowing if the characters will actually be safe. Speaking of action set pieces, I miss films and TV shows using actual practical effects. Majority of this show was practical effects, and I have to say it was much more pleasant to look at than the massive green screens that most modern media use today. They not only allow you to immerse yourself into what you're watching better, but also keep the production budget lower. So I don't know why they stopped using them. Over-reliance on green screens and CGI definitely results in the actual story getting hurt. The amount of things that get added just because they look cool but make no sense these days is off the charts. First example that jumps to my head is Legolas climbing falling rocks in the Hobbit films. It looked goofy and it brought no development to the story or the character. It was only meant to look cool and failed at that still. So if the studios go back to using more practical effects, they will be able to keep budgets down, focus more on the actual worth of the story rather than spectacle. This would then result in them making more money and thus allowing them to produce more stories, making even more money. It would be like an infinite money glitch, so I don't understand why they wouldn't do this. Anyways, do you agree with my points? And please subscribe.